Your authenticity is your edge, your uniqueness is your lane. If you try to copy everyone else, be it in your style, your clothes, your business, or your life, you're gonna rob yourself of your own power. Authenticity is not something we have or don't have. It's a practice, a conscious choice of how we want to live. Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Elevate with Mama Cash, a space where style, story and soul come together to help you rise into the woman you are becoming. I am Mama Cash, your host, and on today's episode, we will be talking about something that I have experienced, or I think every woman wrestles with or struggle with. I always have women asking me, how can I bask in my full self, to be free to fully exhibit my style without feeling guilty and fully immersed into who I really want to be? We're going to talk about that. So let's face it, right? We've been really raised to think that we need to fit in, right? For example, in schools, we were taught to color within the lines. At workplaces, we've been asked to mute our voices and not ruffle feathers. And in motherhood, we've been taught to give so much so that we forget to actually replenish ourselves. And in fashion, we've been taught trends, body images, the it thing, aesthetics, and all of that. But here's the thing, when you're constantly chasing what's popular, you tend to lose personality and your authentic self, really. And that now becomes external validation rather than you actually tuning in into finding your own frequency. And let's face it, it can get tiring. It can literally get draining if you're always trying to hop on the next thing. That's going to prevent you from actually zoning in with yourself. So today we're going to talk about how to mute the noise around you and focus really on your own style. So today's story, we're going to take it back to fashion and creativity, or the space of fashion and creativity. And I'm going to tell you guys a story about a strong Spanish fashion house that reinvented itself by not following the line or towing the line, but reforging its path. So today's story is going to be about Loewe. And Loewe was a traditional Spanish luxury house that was known for crafting leather goods, craftsmanship. It really had strong heritage in everything leather, fine taste, finely refined. And to be honest, back in the day, Loewe really wasn't making waves that much, right? However, Jonathan Anderson, who was a young British designer, joined them as their creative director. And Jonathan already had his own gender fluid brand, which was known of different silhouettes, bold structures, colors. And again, he was English, he wasn't Spanish. And this really made waves within the fashion community, because for a staple Spanish house like Loewe, bringing in someone with a different perspective was really a shock for many within the fashion industry. But JW Anderson already owned his own brand, which is called JW Anderson. And if you've ever had a JW Anderson piece, you know that they're very different in the way they structure things, right? So he brought a different perspective. And rather than just fitting in line and doing what Loewe was known for doing over the years or over the centuries, actually, he decided to bring a fresh breath to Loewe, brought in structured silhouettes, different styles, materials, fabrics, and different things. And this really worked. Loewe was transformed into a brand that every single person wanted to wear. Your grandma, your auntie, your young young talk on the blog, everyone wanted to wear Louis. And again, that's just to say that if he had gone there and tried to just do what Louis was known for doing, and to be honest, that was the expectation in the fashion industry. There are some houses that are meant to stay the way they are, really, because keeping heritage is very important for these houses, especially your older Spanish, Italian, and French houses. It's very important for them to keep their identities. But JW Anderson came in there and he really rocked the world. And that's why you started having things like your puzzle bags that went viral, Beyonce rocked it, and different bags that just went viral with different shapes, right? But it's just to tell you guys that even in the world of fashion, stepping out and bringing personality and perspective in a world that follows trends is very important, because if you don't do that, you can wash out your own self. So yeah, JW Anderson did not just reinvent Loewe by doing what every other fashion house was doing. He brought his personality and his authenticity to the table, and that is really what you should be doing. So you might be asking yourself, why did I choose to tell you a story of a creative director in the fashion industry? How does that relate to me? It does relate to you. Whether you're a mom or a creative director, the principle is the same. Your authenticity is your power. So my own personal experience with this is I actually used to struggle as well to stay in my own lane, because when I would look at what different stylists or content creators were doing, I would ask myself, maybe I have to niche down a little bit. Maybe I have to do things this way. Maybe people wouldn't take me serious if I mix style with storytelling or with passion on just reinventing self. But I tell you, once I started leaning into that side of me that loves not just style, but actually reinventing yourself and your soul, I actually touched more people. I actually had more women reaching out to me asking what was the best way to get around that. Because to me, as I mentioned, it's not just clothes, right? So once I started doing that more, I noticed that even the women I worked with were more confident in themselves, because it was not just the clothes that they maybe saw on Instagram or they saw on some clothing reel. It was more understanding what really made them different, what really made them feel good in their skin. And for me, that's really what's important for me. That's what makes me drive through when I help people put their style together. So again, and I'll tell you, I struggled over the years because I had so many of you tell me, well, I think Mama Kesh, you should do this and you should do that. And for me, that was not really what resonated with me, right? I needed to find what was the best balance between the thing I love doing, which is styling folks, but also education, because really at base, I'm an educationist at heart. If I can give out good information that would help you not just dress well, feel well, but be well, why wouldn't I do that? And I think that now this is my space. This is a space where, again, I'm going to use storytelling, style to help you really elevate into the woman you want to be. Because that's what I feel best in my element. That's the element I feel best in. So why not lean into it? Let's bring in back style psychology, because studies actually show that when your external style aligns with your internal identity, things start shifting. You actually get greater confidence, you get more clarity, and you have emotional well-being. Why wouldn't you want that for yourself, right? And this form of encoded cognition, as we've mentioned before here, is really a strong aspect of style. You want to wear things that make you feel strong, things that make you feel present. Don't shy away from them. That's where your authenticity is. If you just continue to mirror what everyone is wearing around you or the way everyone looks around you, you're going to lose your own self. Why would you want that, right? Go back to self. So I have a little task for you all. Go back into your closet and look at those things that when you wear, you just feel like you're blending with the masses. Nothing's really different. And then identify those other items that when you wear, you do feel different. Your light bulb gets turned on. You feel more energetic. You feel more powerful. identify those things. And when you do, start building your closet to reflect more of that and less of the things that just make you to blend in. Because really, and again, there's nothing wrong with actually finding something that's trendy. There's really nothing wrong with that. But at the base of it, you want to get tuned in into items that really resonate with who you are and show up that way. So stop being in the business of copying trends and rather dress from your essence. That's how you start creating your own lane. That's how you start finding your style frequency and leaning into it. So here's my challenge for you this week. Do one thing that makes you show up more authentically to yourself. So be it through your style or your clothes, your voice, or even choices. If there's some, it might be even saying no to a situation that doesn't fit your soul anymore. That's you being authentic to yourself, and it's okay to do that. When you realize that you do not need permission to show up for yourself, stop asking for it. Just show up. That is going to help you to tune in into the next level of who you want to become. Again, yeah, we're going to try to do it through your style, but again, we're going to touch your mind, your body, and your soul throughout to help you identify the things that are really meant for you. Thank you for tuning in on today's episode of Elevate with Mama Cash. If today's episode spoke to your soul, go ahead and share it with your friends and family. And remember to always dial in into your authentic frequency. And if you want more, information is on the bar and we can get on a one-on-one and get yourself reinvented again. Until next time, stay tuned.